It's Thanksgiving time, and you've heard of toy and clothing drives. Well, we sit down with an organization called Touchdown Drive, who delivers game plans, halftime adjustments, and most importantly, warm points to ranked SEC teams in need.
And I let UCLA do my makeup.
It's time to wake up, college football! Welcome to week 13 of Wake Up College Football, brought to you by Ubisoft's Shape Up. And before we get into everything fun, here's a Kansas punter almost deciding to fall.
Nobody touch it. It's an egg. It's gonna hatch.
It's real hot.
Shh. Very quiet. No.
Kansas football.
Not the worst thing that happened in Kansas all day.
No, and that's actually my most awesome thing. Not the fact that Kansas didn't tackle Samaje Perine. It's that Samaje Perine, Oklahoma running back, 427 yards. He gave Melvin Gordon precisely this many weeks.
Not great.
This many weeks of the single game FBS rushing record.
You know what's normally when you break a big record like that, the previous record holder has some time to process it, can call you because they haven't played
Campus
in years.
tour. Thanks, guys. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Like Melvin Gordon didn't even get a chance to put together a video card to send.
No video card, no opportunity to say like, hey, all due credit to the offensive line. And then, oops, and the crazy thing about Perine, freshman, and the fact that he wasn't even the notable freshman coming into the season as a running back for Oklahoma. That was Joe Mixon. Keith Ford got a lot more attention, and Perine, unbelievable season.
But I'm sure the expectations will be totally reasonable for him next season.
Just coasting. What was your awesome thing of the week?
I will go with Arkansas. Winners of 2 SEC games in a row, not to brag, but they've done it in very impressive fashion.
Yes.
Shutting out LSU and now Ole Miss.
Yeah, losing their defensive coordinator before the season started, too.
They do 2 things very well. They play defense, and they turn you over.
Yep.
And they run the ball. And that's pretty limited, but it is pretty much what Brett Bielema wants to do.
And they're not even running the ball in a particularly crazy fashion like Wisconsin did under Bielema. They're efficient, but nothing crazy. Right,
but they definitely lean on that instead of throwing the pass.
Right.
And it's setting up to be a very interesting final game for them against Missouri. Obviously has big SEC East implications. But you have to like what you see out of Arkansas, a team that earlier in the year we just sort of said, oh, they can hang with Alabama, they can hang with A&M. Not anymore. Now they're a competitive team. I would not want to play them in a bowl game.
No. You were going to walk away from that game. Did you see pictures? I forget the running back, just bruised and battered.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Not fun.
No, not fun at all. Another team, and you just mentioned them, Mizzou, because they're playing Arkansas next week. To me, it's an unexpected thing just because of the depths that they've been at this season. Losing to Indiana, losing the way they did to Georgia, being shut out, speaking of SEC shutouts. Mizzou's defense has developed into something that's particularly nasty, and they don't play unlike what Arkansas is doing. They're not shutting teams out in that way. They're not getting great quarterback play at all from Matty Mock, and their receivers are dropping balls. Their passing game is just pretty atrocious at this point. They run the ball really well with Murphy and Hansbrough, and their front 4, front 7, their front 11 on defense is so nasty. They're a top 5 defense against the SEC. They are so good. Ray and Golden, brothers, the linebacker, he's in the backfield constantly. They're a scary, scary team. Was not expecting them to be maybe even better than the defense in Columbia last year.
Here's the thing. You mentioned Georgia and Indiana. Those are also the only 2 teams that have run for 200 yards against Missouri. So there is a recipe, and it is keep the ball, run it down their throats, and
take advantage of every Matty Mock turnover as well.
Make sure they're getting lousy field position all day. And I honestly don't know who's going to win that game. I don't have a good read on it.
That's a completely unexpectedly, if you're looking forward, fun game that we did not anticipate that being fun and interesting.
Absolutely.
To you, what were you not expecting?
How many points did you score in American football yesterday?
0 points.
0 points.
I scored 0.
You have a lot in common with Wake Forest and Virginia Tech in regulation yesterday. 0, 0, 0, 0.
It hurts to talk about it.
Overtime tied 0-0. How many times do you think Virginia Tech got past the Wake Forest 20?
Probably a couple times.
0! The answer is 0.
No.
This was the worst game of the year.
ACC football.
It was an offense to everything good and decent in this world.
Yeah.
And Virginia Tech didn't even have the decency to win it, and now they're in danger of losing their bowl streak, which has been going on since 1992, the 5th longest of all time. I have no idea what is going on with the Hokies, but it's bad. It's super bad.
At polite dinner parties, you're not supposed to talk about politics or religion. I would add ACC football to that list. I would add ACC football.
They're the worst team in the Coastal.
All right, on a more positive note, let's check in with our health and fitness correspondent, Nathan Seichert, who teaches, I guess, all the rest of the teams on the FBS level how to properly celebrate touchdowns with vigor.
Thanks, guys. Now look at me. I love football. I mean, the tailgate, the kickoff, the halftime show, all of it gets me fired up. But I gotta say, I've been seeing some pretty disappointing things lately. I mean, what happened to the touchdown celebration? Where did all the pizzazz and flash of football go? But thanks to Ubisoft's new game Shape Up, it's never been easier to get a healthy workout in your home and work on your end zone dance. It's a real touchdown! Just start out with some basic moves to get the party started. Then add in a simple finisher like having your teammates lift you into the air to really bring it home. See? It's that easy. For more workout games, check out Shape Up, only on the Xbox One. Back to you guys. Okay, good take. You can put me down now.
Thanks, Nathan. Your hips don't lie. I appreciate it.
They can't.
No, they can't. There's no possibility of it. But to you, what was the most meaningful thing from Week 13?
I'm going to go back to Thursday night. Kansas State goes on the road, beats West Virginia in what I think was the best possible outcome for Baylor fans.
For the Big 12 as a whole for getting into this playoff.
Because you look at this game and you walk away from it saying, West Virginia still a very competent, decent team. They didn't get blown out.
Going this direction. They're on the rise.
But by and large, yes. Kansas State still has a very tough defense, holds West Virginia to its lowest point total at home this season.
Yeah.
And they still have a locket.
They still have a locket.
And in the way that, you might have an ancient charm from a deceased relative or something like that. This locket has magical powers.
He's been there since 2002 is what it feels like.
And it can they have enough game-changing ability that it's setting up for a very interesting game with Baylor in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Well, K-State should be a top 10 team by then at least, right?
Right around there, I would assume.
So that could be enough to give Baylor the little push it needs to get into that top 4. But will not be a pushover game by any means at this point.
No,
so
not at all.
That's what I think is the most meaningful looking forward. What about you?
On a somewhat similar note, the Pac-12 South. We've talked about how good and how deep they are.
Yeah.
Some divisions, some conferences in college football, teams that appeared to be very good in September have not been able to last the season playing at a high level. But the Pac-12 South, Week 13, Arizona looks very, very good, even with poor quarterback play, beating up on Utah and running away from them late. UCLA, their defense has taken strides. Again, this direction, UCLA's defense. They're getting to the quarterback. They're stopping everything. Granted, USC's offensive line, young and very green. But still, you're talking about Buck Allen, Cody Kessler, Nelson Aguilar. Pretty much nothing in that game. Then Arizona State, they're in a game close against Washington State. They pull away and get better. So I feel like the Pac-12 South has defended itself as being maybe the deepest division in college football.
It's definitely better than the Pac-12 North.
It is definitely better than the Pac-12 North.
Which is not much of a compliment.
Right, it's Oregon and they're like cousins they're super embarrassed about.
Oh, we have to go to Thanksgiving with them?
Oregon's went with the girlfriend's family this year, so that's what's going on. So yes, that was it. And lastly, we see this beautiful mug right here in front of us. Has our logo. It looks great. We're giving them away on Twitter. Yesterday was the first day of our contest. This specific mug, will be going to Grant Case, who came up with the best nickname.
The best nickname.
Of all the activity in college football.
We should acknowledge there were a lot of good contenders.
Yes, absolutely.
Somebody suggested we call Arkansas the law school because it crushes dreams and leaves you penniless, which don't disagree.
That works. That checks out. Yeah. But Grant, for nicknaming Tevin Coleman, Indiana running back, the middle child. For getting all of his accomplishments lost in the conference when his team is pretty bad.
His team is very bad.
His team's pretty bad.
His team is very bad, but he's awesome. You're an oldest child.
Yes, I am.
I'm an oldest child.
Can't relate.
So we know what it's like to live in the sunshine.
Glory.
Youngest children also know what it's like.
Yes.
Middle kids.
Not so much.
Sorry.
Tevin Coleman, this is for, well, it's not for you, but it's for Grant Case.
Because you're the middle child and you don't get that.
And we can't NCAA violations. Sorry. But thank you for watching Wake Up College Football. We will see you next week.